dealing with some of the stuff that I was doing. And so, like Lane said, I've been doing this actually since 1990. I've been playmate since 1995, but I've been doing the speaking, and I was originally with Matchmake Ball Machines, and then I changed to Playmate in 1994, late 94, 95. And you know, when you're on the road, you go to Corky's Barbecue, you go to Wild Wings in Hilton Head, you go, you know, to Lou Malnati's in Chicago. I mean, I know every pizza restaurant, I know every famous rib restaurant, every famous steak restaurant, every microbrew. You know, if it got rained down in San Francisco, I was at Anchor Steam Brewery, you know, taking a tour. You know, I mean, I guess it was a guy thing of burning sausage on the grill, see how we can burn it and put just the right barbecue sauce on it. But you do that like most of your life, and it caught up with me. So he flipped his laptop around. My blood pressure was 145/100. My pulse was 74, 75. My glucose was 6.0, which is a bona fide diabetic. I mean, you should be on medicine at 6.0. My cholesterol was 280. And he said, basically, you know, I'd gone spinning the day before. I was still active. I wasn't just a slug. And he said, you were the classic person. If I saw you on an autopsy table next week, you would just go, of course it happened. It's kind of like, look at those numbers. I mean, it's just, that's what happens to guys that, you know, have those numbers. And so that freaked me out, because I've had OCD anyway, so I went home and told my wife I'm dying. And so, she comforted me and said, maybe not today, but she's like, yeah, I mean, you should be healthy, because I had acid reflux, I snored like a banshee, and those things, we've been married for 15 years, so she'd see me in a different way. I hadn't done that before, so it kind of evolved. And so the doctor was cool enough, because he was a tennis player, a family friend. He sat down and said, well, what'd you do yesterday? I said, well, I went spinning. That's good, right? He goes, yeah, that's good, but what'd you have for breakfast? That's more important. And I said, well, I think I had coffee. And because that's what I did. And a lot of tennis pros do that. They get up, they have coffee, right, MJ? They have coffee, which is all right. And then I didn't eat anything. And then I went spinning about lunchtime on my lunch break. And then I went and had a tuna sub. I go, that's good, right? Tuna? Wasn't the spicy Italian. He goes, well, let's see. And he flipped around the Subway's website. And of course, that is the worst thing Subway makes is the tuna sub. Because it's 60 grams of fat, because they use the absolute worst mayonnaise possible. And so we had this talk in the car yesterday. I'm not sure why Subway does that. Why don't have low fat mayonnaise? When you mix it as a blend, I don't know why it would taste any different if it, you know, as a blend, but it is 60 grams of fat. And so he said, you know, look, all these things, burgers, eat more turkey breast. Not just turkey breast, because turkey is still like 10 grams of fat. So you're shifting one to the other, from lean ground beef to turkey, you know. So, and I'm a big cheese fan, so I eat hummus now. I never ate olives. And so when he started to tell me things, and I started to write things down and started to pay attention, and I went home, and over the course of the next 30 days, I really researched, Google this, Google that, Google this. So I ended up writing kind of a nutritional thing for myself. And I wanted to learn about good fats and bad fats. I ended up calling it the Fab 5 on our website. Go to fpt60.com. This is all free, because I think it saved my life. So it's all free. And so good fats and bad fats in the Fab 5. Okay, I didn't know good fats. I knew the bad fats. I knew bacon, sausage, and that stuff was bad. But I didn't know the good stuff like avocados, olive oil, nuts, all that stuff. Wasn't aware of how beneficial it was. Good carbs, bad carbs. You know, like he said, diets are for weddings. You know, if you want to lose a skirt size, pant size, do a diet. Because you need an entire lifestyle nutritional change. And so you have fanatics, you know, they go, I don't do carbs, man. Just don't do them. And I'm like, you know, and he's like, you can't be like that. He goes, you know, there's some good carbs. You know, your veggies have carbs. So when you say I don't do carbs, then you don't do veggies, and that's not good either. So he said that some people get very fanatical about one aspect of a diet instead of just saying it's a lifestyle nutritional change, and go about like a complete balance of it. And then there's good sugars and bad sugars. I mean, we have the pastries, we have the Krispy Kremes, we have those bad sugars, but then we have the good sugars of our fruits. And so I wasn't aware of that either. And so we go into the sodium. That was a huge kryptonite for me. I would garlic salt my pasta so much it looked like Parmesan cheese before I ever even tasted it. And then we have portions, and that rounds out the Fab 5. Portions, not only how much I was eating, but how much I was eating at one time as opposed to over the course of time. And then when you buy packaged foods, you know, they come in bags, and most adult males or females, they'll eat a whole bag because it says 3 servings, but the bag's like this big. But that's marketing, because they'll say 10 grams of fat, but it's 3 servings, that's 30 grams of fat. A can of soup is 2 servings. I mean, who eats half a can of soup? It's not likely. So when it says 12 or 15 grams of fat for clam chowder, it's really 30 grams of fat. So it's kind of tricky because they know you're looking at it, but they just think you're not looking that quick or that close. And you gotta realize, I grew up in a very athletic background. I played D1 college, was a much better baseball player than I was a tennis player growing up. Ended up playing D1 college tennis, played like in a low A ball and pro. I quit school as a sophomore and played pro tennis for about a year. My father played for the Dodgers, so I was always around pro locker rooms growing up from the age of like 5 on up. So you'd think I would know about this nutrition stuff, but it was just never big back then. You know, the Dodgers would have like ham and beans and sausage and all kinds of stuff in their locker room. For the day, it's not kind of like that. There's more of a focus on nutrition. So after 60 days of minding my nutrition, I lost 15 pounds. Over the course of a year, I lost 45. My blood pressure went from 145 to 160 to 116 over 60. My pulse in January was 47. And that's after walking around the store and doing it. My glucose is now 5.0. I went back to my doctor and he's like, he was shocked because he goes, nobody ever listens to us. Because we tell people this kind of stuff, but they just ask for more Lipitor, they ask for more blood pressure medicine, they just kind of up their dosages until they tap out. That's just not where I want to be. So, and that was 5 years ago, so we know this program is sustainable. Instead of the craft beer, I drink wine. And I drink minimal amounts of it. And the cool thing is, and this is what I didn't believe when I left his office, he goes, you won't like the beer, you won't like the wings, you won't like the sausage. And I was like, you're crazy. That's one thing I didn't buy into at all. But I hadn't had ribs in 4 or 5 years, and with the Corkies when I got here, I'm like, I'm gonna at least test my system. And I got through about half of them, and I was like, I can't do it. It just tasted so bad. It tasted awful. Guys get on planes next to me and they got buffalo chicken, this and that. It's just awful. So it completely changes your palate. Like, I don't do salt anymore unless it's actually in whatever I'm eating. I don't salt anything. I don't need it. And that's something I never thought would ever happen to me. So why am I telling you all this? Because we're in 2015 and there needs to be a better cross between us and the nutrition. I had a gal tap out the other day in one of my clinics down in Florida, and she's like 5'11", weighs $140. She's a big girl, but decent player, and she's like 45 minutes, she's like this. And I'm like, she's like, I got asthma. I go, no, you're just gassed. You're 75 degrees out and you're out of shape. You did probably what you had for breakfast. And she goes, I had a bar. I said, a bar is good for a housewife or a salesman going to work, but it's not good for somebody who's going out and playing an hour and a half of tennis in Florida. Next time I want you to eat this. And she goes, well, that's a lot to eat. I go, eat a couple hours in advance so it doesn't trash your stomach. Perfect. She came out the next week. Oh my gosh. I go, how's the asthma doing? And it wasn't her asthma. And I'm not a doctor. I could just tell her face was flushed and she was gassed. That next week, she ate the right stuff and she was totally fine. So we need to be able to have enough. I don't have an education degree in nutrition, psychology, or any of this stuff, but I talk about all this stuff with my players. I talk about we call it tennis IQ. We talk about the mental efficiency IQ. We talk about the match score IQ. We talk about all this stuff now because it's 2015 and there needs to be a better bridge because you've got this nutrition person at your club now usually or a fitness trainer. There needs to be a better bridge there. So as we start this program today, it's really important to realize we're going to start out with dynamic stretching. And usually I have people raise their hand. I've done clinics all over the country in the last 9, you name the city and I've been in like last 9 months, almost nobody does dynamic stretching. That's crazy, it's 2015. I agree, when I played D1 ball, we did line sprints, we did some laps, we might have did some push-ups and sit-ups. We weren't allowed near the weight rooms, the football players would kick our butt. And so, but now that's all evolved. I mean, it's totally evolved. Everybody's doing this stuff, so everybody's talking about the core. And I think as tennis pros, we need to better educate our players that this stuff is important. And I got a kid flying from North Carolina the other day just to work with me for 4 or 5 days. And he got gassed after 45 minutes. I go, you're homeschooled. He goes, yeah, the coach, it's in North Carolina, it's like 50 degrees here, it's like 75. I'm like, you got gassed in 45 minutes and you're supposed to be playing 6 hours a day. So we talked about his nutrition, it was abominable. We talked about his rackets, they were abominable. I'm like, a kid that's like that good should be stringing his rackets together. The bumper guards were gone. You know, just all these things. He had a 3/8 and a half. The half was, the 3/8 was wrapped big, make it like a half, make it like a half. The pallet's obviously a different shape. So, you know, these are things we need to talk to people about. And the more you educate them, they really dig it. You're like, oh man, my members are really old. Well, I had 3 70-year-olds do a ball recognition clinic in Minneapolis the other day, and they left happy as a pig in mud because they kind of thought that they were kind of pushed off into the sunset, and they actually learned so much about building their speed on the court because they're seeing the ball, where I gave them details of what to see. And then I was down at Boca the other day, and 60, 65 people at a club, and we did a nutritional talk just like this. And they kept me 20 minutes longer before we could do the drills, just asking questions about nutrition. That's how these people, they're really into this stuff. So it's very important that you read up, you get some of this nutrition stuff, and we just tell you to journalize your nutrition. Go for a week and journalize it. Tell me, is it good or bad? Like there's a lady arguing with another lady in the airport the other day. Is this 3 points, man, or is this 4 points? I go over and I look at it, and I was like getting so annoyed because they were kind of in my way where I wanted to go, my flight was kind of thing. I looked at them and I go, can I help you a little bit? And they're like, what do you mean? I go, well, what are you looking at? She goes, well, you know, we're doing the whole way. Is this 3 points or 4 points? Do you know? I looked at it and I said, see, it says mayonnaise. That's bad. There's no points that are going to tell you that's good. Put it back and get something that doesn't have mayonnaise. And I said, plus I have OCD, you're going to be yakking on the plane in 3 hours anyway because you probably have foodborne illness eating mayonnaise out of an airport. So it's really important that, you know, that you make it simple. I was on a cruise back last July and I was doing some floor work and I was listening in on a room that the guy was talking to these older folks about nutrition. He's talking about atoms and their urine and how things break down and like that. It was over my head. So when they left there, they probably didn't have a very good feeling about how they're going to take it and move forward. Where this, we say, here's the Fab 5, do the nutritional journal. You know, if you have a baked potato, what'd you have on it? Cheese, sour cream, bad. Bacon, bad. If you had a salad, you had blue cheese and like ranch dressing, bad. You know, and be truthful about it and try to get things on the right track. So, does anyone have any questions? Because I think that's really huge. I think moving forward, we really need this better bridge because FPT 16 now can be done in 3 different ways. You can do it as a private lesson, as a trainer, just like somebody's training somebody at the gym. People come out to me and say, I want to get fit, and I show them all the drills that they can do, and I don't really work on their strokes much, I just work on getting them fit. I just run them through a bunch of drills and really gas them. Here's a drill, 20-second rest. Here we go again. Here's a 20-second rest. Do it just like the trainer would be at the gym. And then you can do it in a group clinic, okay, where you're just, again, it's like it's another version of cardio tennis. I'm on the cardio tennis speakers team, so it's another version of a way of doing cardio tennis. And then you can also do it as a member at a club. Just go out and do the drills. They're all free. There's videos of the drills online. You print out the workout sheet that comes with the free program. You go out there and do the drills. So there's 3 different ways of doing it. Can I get some hitters now? We're gonna bust through a bunch of drills now. Need probably, I don't know, at least 4 to 6 hitters. Okay, so dynamic stretching is very important because we absolutely kicked the snot out of teams we should never have beaten in the first set because we were fully lubed. We go out, we do 2 laps, it's mandatory. I don't want you wasting your time or wasting your money on your time. So you come out 15 minutes early, you get all this done before you get to my court. 2 laps around. If you really want some good info on this, we've got it online again. We've got just the stretching program of what they're called. But go to Mark Kovacs. You can Google Mark, and he's got tons of good drills for that. It's Kovacs, and Mark's got tons of dynamic stretching things. He's an expert at it. So we do 2 laps around the court, spread out across the base, or the double sidelines. Give me a couple over here, and I'll a couple over there. That's good. 1 more. There you go. Just spread out right here. You keep your rackets. And we'll just do a couple. I'll jump over here. Basically, dynamic stretching is not this stuff. This is more post-match. All we're going to do is like butt kicks here. They're going to come up. We're going to do a little fist bump, turn around, do butt kicks back. Butt kicks back, then we'll do some high knees. These are just some examples. Like I said, we've got the whole thing up online. Then we can do some Frankensteins, we do some high kicks, Frankensteins, where we really reach up and stretch. Some of that. Again, we would do it all the way back. And then we got cherry pickers, stuff like this. You know, and my ladies kind of pushed back at first and they said, oh yeah, thanks guys.
stay right there though. We don't want to do this, and it looks different, and people are going to think we're weird. And I'm like, yeah, but from an athlete, you guys look weird going out here going, hey man, did you see that movie, blah, 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 never hitting any overheads and just starting your match? And so, to me, that looks, not so good. So, it's really important. They would come out, they do dynamic stretching for about 10 minutes. Then they go mini tennis, backcourt, rally, somebody takes some volleys, the traditional warm-up. Somebody else takes some volleys, hit some overheads, hit some serves, hit some returns, and then play some simulated points. So about 40 minutes, they're good. We never want to rely on the other team giving us a good warm-up, which they used to do. Because some people don't warm up on purpose. Oh, sorry that lob wasn't so good. Sorry that lob was but boy, when the match starts, they lob really well. So it's really important to realize that when we left the practice court and got to the match court, man, we were ready to go. That doesn't mean we won every second set. We lost matches. But let me tell you something, we beat teams we had no business beating because we were much better warmed up and we got momentum. And that changes a lot psychology-wise when you get up on somebody that you shouldn't be up on. So the next version of this is, most people, when they come out to use the ball machine, and this is going to give me two lines back here, they come out to warm up and they traditionally just hit rally balls. So we're going to take give me two lines. We're going to take the rally ball and just make it a little bit more cool. So this is, again, we're just in the warm-up phase. You're going to hit a forehand, turn around and hit a backhand off the same ball. So it's just a basic drill to get them fired up. So you'll see this in our warm-up. So forehand, turn around and hit a backhand. Ready? Here we go. Forehand, now turn around and hit a backhand off that. There you go. Then forehand. Hit 4 balls each. 4 balls each. Yeah, 4 balls each. Now I'm going to time this, the proper timing of whenever you're using the machine is when their ball passes the machine, it should throw another ball. So I'm going to watch his ball. That's pretty good right there. He hit the machine, boom, it came right back out. So a backhand, turn around, and hit a forehand. This is just 2 lines. This is a basic drill. Nothing earth-shattering with that. Okay, now we take it to a moon ball. So when we do moon ball, we're going to back up here. So you're going to have this line over here. You're going to stay right here, right there. Second person in line is out to the side. You stay here. So just for safety, we're going to back up and play a moon ball. I always have my line out to the side. I don't put them behind them. Okay, so moon ball, I'm going to slow the frequency down a little bit, just a tad. Now you're going to go back and play a moon ball on the descent, okay? And then we're going to come back up and then play a backhand on the descent. So forehand, backhand, again, 4 balls each. Here we go. So moon ball, back up, play it. Back up, there you go, now play it. Backhand, good. So, sit. So shoulder warm-up phase. As their game progresses, now let's play on the rise. We're going to take that same ball and play on the rise. Ready? Same ball, 4 balls each, play on the rise now. Ready? Here we go. Good, here we go. And then the backhand the next time. There you go. And yeah, it's just 2 lines. Okay, got it. So that gets them warmed up. Okay? Now, the next phase is we call it all times. Everything is all time. Like all time forehand, all time backhand. We call it, there's 3 different versions of our drills. One's called deciders, one's called touching goes, and one's called zone to zones that we'll conclude with, of taking the same ball and using it in a different zone, like a high approach, hitting it and then going and taking the high approach with a high volley, or taking a low approach and taking the next ball as a low volley, but it's the same ball. So now, all-time forehand is, they're going to hit a forehand here, and then come over here and hit a forehand here. Okay, and then we're going to talk about what we found around the country when we did some of these drills. So you start right here, right? Start right here. You're going to hit a forehand. You're going to start right here. And even if you have a lefty, and so he's here, right, hitting a righty forehand, this drill works great for lefties. You just start the lefty on this side of the ball, and now he's hitting an all-time forehand this way. So don't let the lefty freak you out. So we're going to go here, here. Okay, so, and now we got to amp up the frequency again because these guys are hitting the ball pretty hard. So forehand, and then always start the frequency a little slow. Like these guys are pros, so I don't worry about it so much. But when you do it with the ball machine, you don't want to embarrass them, or you don't want to give them something that's too hard at first because then they kind of freak out if they haven't done it before. So give them a little latitude and just kind of work them into it, speed it up once they start to figure it out. Ready? Here we go. 2 lines, all that forehand. You're getting the forehand there, now slide over, get the forehand over there. Good. Pretty good. Good. Here we go. Here we go, forehand. Here we go. Okay, so you get the point. Then we go all-time backhand. We do the same drill and go all-time backhand. What did we find when, so this is rolling, right? I can get through another 40 drills here in like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I just keep every 30 seconds changing a drill, right? But what did we find when we went around the country? It was crazy. We started this like 3 years ago, so I'm doing these FPT 60 clinics, and we go out and say, okay, we're gonna do a moon ball now. And they'd be like 3-5, they'd be like hitting the ball like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so we would throw a moon ball, right? And it would be, moon ball was throw it directly to myself here, something like this. And, you know, they'd get a moon ball, and they'd go, oh, I hope they don't do that again. You know? And I'm like, wow, that's your moon ball? And they're like, yeah, that's ugly. It's sort of like, I hate that shot. Can we use something else? And they do all these things. And I'm like, well, gosh, you know, moon ball can be played a lot of different ways, you know? The whole idea is strike zone. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What did you say? I said, strike zone. It's in your strike zone. And so all of a sudden, we had this dialogue started. I'm like, wow, I got in the car and I'm like, man, these guys didn't know anything. You know? And then we go to the next place. These guys didn't know anything. And so then we started talking about, we called their tennis IQ. And just since last September now, I have dealt with 519 club players. And I've been in every, you name it, Tucson, LA, Riviera Beach, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, it doesn't matter. 519 players that I've come in contact to trying to do this program, and not one has ever heard of strike zone or known what it is. Isn't that amazing? It's kind of strange, don't you think? Because how can you play a game when there's no known goal of how I play it? Because this is your lower level strike zone, Eastern Continental. Up here's your upper level strike zone for a rally ball for a semi-western or a western, but it's also the attack zone for the Eastern. These players have no idea. So all of a sudden the player who's hitting these players hitting good rally balls, you go up to one of my clinics and they're like, hitting the rally ball. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Just back up and take your strike zone. I'm like, oh my God, in like 5 minutes they're hitting these beautiful groundies because they have some goals now. I was like, wow. So we would not get through but like maybe 10, 15 drills in a couple hours because we spent the whole time teaching these guys shots. And they did it. They got the shots. I mean, last night we were over at a club and we had players playing the upper level strike zone, you know, everywhere from a kid who was 14, just your average junior development program kid, to a 3-5 lady, to a 3-5 guy, just busting balls in their upper level strike zone, just happy as a pig in mud. But they don't know that going in. And so the game has become very difficult for the players, like very difficult, to the point where I got to give you these numbers because then we're gonna bust through a bunch of drills because you got to understand the drills. But let me give you some numbers that are kind of shocking, okay? Because I was doing this for 3 years, going, wow, it's scratching my head every time I get in the car. And then I started counting those people from September. I just had a wild hair. I'm going to start counting those players. And I thought maybe 20% were in those strike zones, maybe 50%. Nobody. Yesterday was the closest I was. A lady said something about spacing. I go, oh, what did you say? Spacing? Yeah, that's close. Talk to me about it. She's like, well, no, the spacing. I'm like, yeah, we'll talk to you. She didn't know. She was that close, but she didn't know. And so you have your lower level strike zone, upper level strike zone, and then the problem is a lot of players fail on their distance between the ball. So once you get past like, oh yeah, I'm getting in my strike zone, then they can't get out of their own way and they're just way too close to it. Especially when they're trying to attack the ball. You never see Fed attack like this. You know, he's attacking like this. So they have a big problem with getting away from the ball. And so that's a huge problem. So that is vertical spacing and horizontal spacing. You can fix that, you're going to make a lot of people happy. So in 2010, okay, these are numbers right off the TIA, right off that I personally asked for. They're not so, they might be published somewhere, but I haven't seen them. I asked for these. So, new and returning players, okay? New and returning means that either you played high school and now you've come back, or you're just a total newbie. In 2010, we got 3.85 million people into the game. We lost 3.68 million people that year. We had a net gain of 170,000 people. You're like, oh, okay, kind of flat, but okay. Next year, 2011, we got in 3.9 million people, but we lost 4.86. And remember, there's about 17 million people that totally play the game when you add these figures in. So that means there's about 13 million that are kind of existing players, like all your members of the club. So somehow we dug into them a million people. We don't know how many, they don't really know how many of that million people were. Were they the core players that play 80% of the time? Because those players account for, 80% of those players account for, or sorry, 20, yeah, they account for almost all of your revenue. So those existing players. So it's really important that we can't lose them. We lost 1 million of them. And so here in 2012, we got in 4.8 million people, but we lost 4.84 million people. So we lost, I'm sorry, we got in 4 million and lost 4.84. So in 2 years, we lost 2 million core players. Playing sales were down. I'm sure ball sales were down. I don't know how you could lose 2 million people, maybe more than you got in, and your ball and racket sales could be up. I go to Vulcan now and they're like, lessons? Yeah, our lessons are down like 25–30%. It used to be gun drops and lollipops for like the last 20 years. I get out of Vulcan like, oh, we're slammed. And so, I guess my point to this is if we lose 2 million people in 2 years of core players, but you gotta remember we lost 5 million people overall just that 1 year. We happen to lose 1 million more each year than we actually brought in, then that's kind of telling. It's telling us that the game is really hard because now pickleball's picking up and all these things are like, well, other sports like, yeah, but we're more concerned with our sport. So it's really, really important that we get better. And so traditionally, and this is my soapbox, and I'm going to jump off it here in a minute because we have a million drills to do, but when we fix this, when I go to a club, and I was just in Minneapolis, Nashville, you name it, I can go out and see an indoor club with like a battery of 6 courts, and they've got four courts of pros going like this. We get rid of that, and I guarantee you, we will never lose 1 million more people than we brought in again, ever. But what happens is, when you give them this ball, and then I tell them to go play this moon ball, they have no idea. And it goes all the way up to the high junior ranks. The better junior players are just good athletes. Go talk to them. Ask them questions. Where's your strengths? I don't know. Where do you get this ball? Well, I don't know. They're just really good athletes. Very few of them have anything going on up here the way we would want it to go on. And it's classic. I mean, I go to so many clubs where I'll do a clinic here and do another clinic, and those people will come out in front of the pros, and I'll say, where's your strength zone? That person wasn't at my clinic, and they have no idea. That person was like upper level, lower level. This is going to be a horizontal ball. This is going to be an elevated ball. They have so much knowledge after an hour clinic. And so knowing that, they get a lot better, and they're very excited about the game. But right now, they're just athletes running around trying to play, and they really don't know a whole lot. And it's kind of a tough cookie to crack, because now when I'm trying to throw a 4-5 ball, we built their heads so big, it's hard to get to a 4-5, because like, I'm a 4-5, I would never do a moon ball. Well, that culture has been created. We've told them they're good for so long, when really they're kind of not. They need to learn these shots, okay? So, that's my soapbox. But if we end the feeding from the net, because if we're a learning expert, I spend tons of time with these kind of people. They will tell you that it is trashing their motor skills, because the ball needs to come from wherever it comes from in a match. And so the ball recognition, if I'm standing in the middle of the court feeding the ball, they have no readability of the ball whatsoever. The ball's always going to their strike zone, hence that's why they've never heard of it. But when you start feeding a moon ball from the depths that it needs to come from, then they're going to start going, well, why am I hitting it like this? And now the discussion of strike zone has to happen. But forever and a day, it's just been this elitist sport, like Mrs. Jones, you're doing great, Mrs. Jones, you're doing great. And now there's just too much competition with other sports and activities that people just, they're moving on. So fix that, I guarantee you all the rest of the stuff fixes itself. So, we did moon balls on the rise. I'm sorry, we did all that in warm-up. But now we're going to do the same thing with moon balls, where he's going to go all-time moon ball. So, give me 2 lines. Second line's out to the side. So you're going to go all-time moon ball. Okay. And again, I'm not a complainer. I'm going to show you how I'm trying to be I'm trying to fix the problem, not being a whiner of the problem. So hopefully this type of stuff will be beneficial in fixing the problem. So we're going to play all-time moon ball on the descent this time. So they're going to come up here. They're going to recover the home base. They're going to go back here, play their lower level strike zone, come back here, play this ball in the lower level strike zone. Okay, ready? Here we go. Something like that. And off we go. Ready? Here we go. See, he's got, that was out of his strike zone, right? So he didn't hit a very good ball. So that was out of his strike zone. He didn't hit a very good ball. You see that, how that works? You want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. And right now, you know, I'm pushing him too far. I'm pushing him too fast. I'm slow it down a little bit. But I don't want him doing the wrong thing. So I will go up here too fast. Better. Find it in the zone. Better. There's more of the strike zone. You see the difference of playing it up here as opposed to here? And just because he hits a good ball, don't reward him by saying nice shot. Make him do the right thing. It's not the shot that matters. It's him doing the right thing. Okay, so now we're going to push you a little bit more. You know, right? Pretty good, right? Yeah. Every 4 balls.
Your turn.
He was getting more. So here we go. So this time we're going to go on the rise, come back here, and play on the descent. So on the rise, on the descent, 2 lines against 4 balls even. But I kind of got you, right? And you probably hit between the 2 and 3, you probably hit 15 balls, 16 balls, and that's what I want. So have him hit 15 balls, get him like that, and doesn't have to be a Labrador Retriever, like that. Okay, just get him where he's a little gas, give him 20 seconds, and do it again. 20, another drill, do it again. And do it maybe 3 times and change up. Okay, ready? Here we go. So on the rise, on the descent. We're going to talk about this. Ready? Here we go. On the rise, on the descent. So that one's on the descent. Sorry. This one's on the rise. This one's on the rise. This one's on the rise. On the rise. Good. Okay, here we go. On the descent. Too high, right? Let's right out of this right zone, eh? On the rise. Okay, here we go. Okay, on the descent. Okay, here we go. On the rise. Okay? So, when I talk about on the rise and playing aggressively, where would you want to play? Upper level zone or lower level zone? Yeah, I'm going to get up there and bash it, so what are you going to do? Upper level. What's the stroke pattern going to be? Is it going to be elevated or horizontal? More horizontal. Good. Okay, so there's 4 kinds of follow-throughs. There's elevated, low to high. But then elevated, according to Brett Hopkins, Meet the Hopkins show on the tennis show, which is very good. Okay? There's 9 different follow-throughs within that elevated family. There's low to high, then there's the low to high back here in the moon ball, eh? Then there's the more of the horizontal playing aggressively here. Then you have your inside out forehand, which is more of like in between the moon ball and the rally ball. Then you got your passing shot, which is low to level, more lower level, so you hit a kind of streamer down the line. So there's all those in the elevated family. So most players that come out, they have like their big Bertha. I mean, ask your players, like, you know, how many shots they have. They're really playing with one. It's almost like playing the whole entire golf course with a driver. They're at 400 yards, driver. They go up to 150, they got the big Bertha, just make a little adaptation, and then they go up to the green, and then now they're putting with their big Bertha. They really only have that elevated one-dimensional forehand. And when you go to a golfer and you ask them, what are you going to do at 150 yards? They'll go 500, 700 because female, male. And then they always tell these details. Like, oh my gosh, like, is it above or below my feet? Where is it, you know, is the pin up or back? Is the wind blowing? Where's the hazards? Just all these details. And the tennis player, I'll throw a high approach to, like this, and they'll go, yeah, I'll probably hit it over here. What's the stroke look like? Something like in here. They don't have any details. Where that golf player who may play tennis just as long as they play golf has so much more tennis or golf IQ than our tennis players have tennis IQ. And that's why, you know, it is what it is. So, in this shot right here, let's practice what you preached right there. You're going to go upper level strike zone, okay? You're going to play it in your upper level strike zone, and it's going to look something like this. So I get to demonstrate for him. Upper level strike zone, a lot of cracking, okay? Luke Jensen says I have the best on the rise ball holding a cell phone with anybody alive, right? All right, so get up here, hit the forehand over here, move over a little bit, right here, right there, good. Okay, move around to the forehand, fashion. Get up there, hit it. Better, again. So he does have that shot. Did you have that shot? You already had it, right? We'll tell everybody you did. Okay, pretty good. But last night, I had 3-5 women and men hitting that shot, just like that, and it took about 5 of them. Okay? So I might not have been as clear with my description of on the rise. Sometimes that confuses people when they play a little too low, but that's how I want them playing that ball. And I'll break the court down in the runways, runway C, runway B, runway A, and tell him, you get a ball in A, and you're in A, that's what you're going to do with it. You get a ball in A, I'm sorry, you're in A, you get a ball in B and C, you go on the D set. That's your thought pattern, okay? So I don't want the Melanie Dan going here, and trying to hit a haymaker from here, going from A to C. Okay, that's where it breaks down. Knowing when to play defense, but he needs to know the details of when, because I showed him 2 different versions, right? I showed him on the descent and I showed him on the rise. He needs to know when to choose which one. Okay? And he might look kind of rough at first, because he's going to be thinking a lot, and that kind of breaks it down a little bit, but that's where I want him. Okay? Everybody got it? So, okay, so let's do a couple on the rise. Everybody on the rise. We go all time on the rise. Then we do back in, all time on the rise. Does everybody see that? I don't change a lot with the machine. I don't want you to have to go shh, shh, shh. I kind of stick with the same boom ball and change what they're doing. Okay, all time forehand, all time backhand. And with the rally ball back here, we'll go back there we'll revisit that for a second. We'll even go inside out and inside out. So I'll start, remember I started them here, over here to go all time forehand, all time forehand. I'll just start on the opposite side of the ball here and go inside out. And come all the way over here and go inside out. So we'll do that to show them. So you have to move a lot to pull that off. Did you see what I did there? So you're going to start over here, right? So you're going to start over here into the backhand first, go over there into the forehand. Okay, here we go. See it. Just so they get to see that version. Sorry, start when it starts. Oh, sorry to myself. Sorry. A little flow off. Here we go. Here you go. So, back in. Now run around to the forehand. Good. Now back in. Now forehand. You see, with these guys, I can even amp the ball up and make it harder and harder. But you see, I can work with these guys and really bust their chops. And you know, you saw me hit one ball, but you really don't know how good I am. I'm just coaching. I'm demonstrating and showing enough stuff that I could have, one arm broken. I may not have my main arm even good. Okay? I mean, I've been working with Johan Creep's kids in Charlotte the other day, and I think I hit 1 or 2 balls the entire time. I was just over here showing them different things. But they were world-class kids. And so you can be my age, 50 years old, and not have to worry about, oh, I'm not a 5-0 anymore. I'm just a really good coach. So, okay, so we did all that moon ball stuff, right? So now what I want to do is take the moon ball and play it out of the air. So it's going to be more here, because the moon ball can be played out of the air. Once they've hurt them in some court position, they move in here, they're going to play this ball out of the air. But even this ball can be played, 3 different ways, and so they have to know how to do this too. So I'm going to take them up here, a little closer, and I'm going to say, you're going to get a moon ball, and the first ball is going to be out of your upper level strike zone that you did earlier, and you're going to crack it. So it's going to be upper level strike zone, and they're going to crack it. So that's if the player's like right where the machine is, and I've got to be more, I got to put some gas on the ball. And then we're going to let it drop a little bit, because maybe the machine's just, or the player's off just a little bit more to the side, and I'm going to let it drop a little bit more, okay? And I'm going to let it drop and put a little bit more top spin for safety on it. So I'm going to drop them more here instead of here. And then there's the, wow, I've really got them way off to the side. I just need to hit this volley. I need to hit that kind of sticking volley and move through the volley, hit that, which is very difficult for people because if they just block their regular volley, which is correct, this extra little stick and move through is sometimes very difficult for people to get the feel for it. They miss a ball that they probably shouldn't, but again, they just don't ever practice it. So, or they just don't know the details. So, give me 2 lines up here. And whenever we do this kind of a ball, where it's very important that they move through the ball, you know, I don't want them slamming on the brakes and going like that. Or I don't want them doing a traditional like, and running off the court. I want them doing the right forward motion through the ball. So I'm going to find the distance that they need to travel here. Probably be somewhere around in here. And these cones, that's why we call it touch and go. They're going to come up, they're going to play the ball, and they're going to be forced to hit through the ball and then touch the cone. The cone makes them go forward because they have to touch it afterwards. Because most people will come up and they'll do this. You'll see drills that they're going like that. You see a lot of that, that's not good. Or you see this, like that, where they just plant their foot. I want them to getting up there and going, you know, my next move is through the ball, so I want to get up and get on it, and then I touch the cone. So does everybody see that? Here we go. First one's out of here is a forehand, okay, and then we'll mix it up a little. We'll go forehand, and then we'll go backhand. You can play so much of this stuff with us. Ready? So here we go. 2 lines again. Here we go. Slow the frequency down just a little bit because this one's a little slower. So here we go. Ready? Next. Find it, bust it. Let it drop too much. Don't let it drop. Nice over there, nice over there. Bust it. Better. That was cleaner. Don't let it drop so much, eh? At your logo, bust it. Hit 3 and out. Better. Touch the cone. Good. Better. Good. Good move. Go through it. Go through it. Better. Great straight start. Too much spin over there. Flatten it out. Flatten it out. Flatten it out. Better. Better. Go through it. That's too much spin. Go through it. Go get around it and go through it. Okay, with him, watch it. Dan, right? I want Dan to get more away from the ball because he's kind of falling kind of away as he's kind of after he's hitting it. This shot, if somebody's going to be successful, they can't go up and do this. You see, all their contact is away from their body because it's for power. So you got to be very careful with the club member who's just going like this. And they got to get, and the way they do that is they tend to run right behind the ball, and we got to get them so they're seeing the ball early in its trajectory, so they're already preparing in their move to the ball, not waiting until they get there and go, whoops, I got to be beside it, and now it's a bit of a hassle. Okay, so here we go again. Oh, get on, Ken. Better, flatten it out, a little higher in your strike zone. A little higher in your strike zone. You're a tall guy. Get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Yes, that's it. Now bust it. That's it. Better. A little too high. That's perfect. Okay, so let's see the other one now. Let's see the other one. We're going to let it drop a little bit and spin it. They're kind of out of the way, and we just got to put it away. We got to put a little gas on it, but a little bit more top spin. Ready? Here we go. Better. Better. A little better. Here we go. Get away from it. Go touch the cone after. No. After you do it. Because you stop the follow through. That's too flat. I need safety. I need a little bit more safety. Better. Still a little flat. Here we go. Let it drop more. Still too flat. That's too low. That's too low. That's it. That's it. That was better. But less of inverting with your follow through. There's too much inversion. Even if that goes over, it's going at the service line. Okay? Now let's drive through it. Ready? We're going to drive through it. Ready? Here we go. Finish the point. They're way out of the picture. Finish the point. Finish the point. This is like layups. Look at that. See that? The people don't practice the shot. Here we go. So they're struggling with this more than the high performance shot. The people don't practice it. So I guess my thing is, if I'm playing these guys, I need to go run off the court, fall in the bleachers until they get the shot. Because if I didn't make them hit it hard, they tend to have it, right? Better. So it's just your forehand volley, right? But why are they missing it? Why do club players miss volleys like this? Hit down? Yep, exactly. And what do you think causes it to make them hit down?
Balls up high, he's going high low.
High low. What about grip pressure?
Yeah.
Their grip is like they're holding a cobra, right? And they're, and then it goes down, right? All those were really good answers because there's no real way to specify. They could be hitting down, they could be doing all that stuff you're saying. You're totally right. But address grip pressure because I don't hear that enough with volleyers. And I grew up with folks like this guy's really talented today, and I said, show me your volley real quick. Show me your volley. Ready? Yeah. And look at that. Look at that. Did you see his arm about blew out of the skin? I mean, this is what he felt like. Feel that. Feel that. That's what I felt. Feel that. Yeah, you feel that? That's what I felt when I grabbed his arm. It was like a brick. So somehow he's athletically good enough to compensate and loosen up when he's hitting the ball hard. He kind of knows that for some reason. But when he's going to hit this ball here, he's going back to the brick again. And so that's why I'm on this side of the court. I don't spend my life over there because I want to touchy-feely so I know what's going on over here. Because me being able to touch him helps.
Can you explain how, because that is true, grip pressure is really taught.
Machine's broken. Those are my top 3 that I hear from pros when I talk about that. And I'm like, man, if the ball machine was broken, and I got more lessons, I got to think about that one. You know, am I bringing value or am I just that ball machine they think? And they're not distinguishing between the two. It's not that they're cheap, it's just they're not distinguishing. That's not good. We haven't built the service big enough that they feel it's different. The next thing is the members, I asked them, why do you think the pro teams beats in the net? Why do you think the pro does what they do? And they said they don't take, the number one answer is they don't take it as seriously as I think they should. And then I asked, out of all the pros I talked to last year, only less than 10% said they come out with a valid lesson plan. That means a clipboard with what they're doing today. Less than 10%, so you gotta think that it probably isn't being taken too seriously. Or if they've got ladies teams that played last week, are the lessons tailored towards that? Maybe three teams out of the 4, you know, got beat playing double back, and the lesson tomorrow is, hey, I'm gonna beat the pro team now, all right, let's work on some serves. They never got exposed to double back, and that's why they lost that match. So, you know, it's very important that we tailor things towards what's happening. And their number 1 answer, or number 2 answer was, which, you know, it's not horrible, is that the pros want everybody to be happy. You know, they feel like if I work on a moon ball, Susie might not get it, and Susie might not be very happy. And so that's a valid concern too. So we have to be very good at teaching these things. So Susie is learning the moon ball and she is happy, and that's not as bad as saying that we don't think it's as serious as a business. You know, of course we want them happy. So, but we don't want them so happy that they're not learning anything either. So that's kind of the crossover. Thank you very much. So now we're going to take this same ball and we're going to say, we're going to go, we're going to play it as a high approach shot here. We're going to go high approach and we're going to play it out of the air like this, like back in System 5 days. So I take the 5-5. We're going to take like a 2-5, close, come back, and they're going to come back to about the depth of this cone and keep closing. And we're going to do 3 balls each. And again, this is important too, as like a member of the cardio tennis team. It's very important when you're doing group lessons like this. If I've got this many people, tailor the number of balls to how many people you have. If I've got 4 people, I might do 4 balls. If I've got 6 people, I might do 2 or 3. I'm not gonna have ladders if I've only got 4 people. But if I've got 6 people, I'm gonna do maybe 2 or 3 balls, but then I'm adding at least two ladders on each side. If I've got 8 people, then I will do maybe 2 balls, a ladder here, so there, nobody's standing around. And if there is one person left, then they're doing a blast or something. So make sure you do that, because a lot of people take the drills and they don't really tailor it that way. They'll see me do 4 balls in a certain drill and they'll write it down as a 4-ball drill. Well, not really, because I get home and I've got 6 ladies, it changes. You have to adapt to how many people you have, because that can make a really good drill not so good. So ladders are used to take time up, so people aren't standing around, okay? So here we go, high volley. You're gonna close and put it away. And like maybe a 2-5 swing. You youngins out here, you probably weren't even born when Nick and Brett were doing System 5 at Hilton Head in 1990. So we're going to go here. So 0 is the contact point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be more of a 2-5 finish. And close through the ball. Ready? Here we go. Should be there. Ready? Go. Close and put it away. Here we go. Close and put it away. Close and put it away. Scrum is more kryptonite. She wants kryptonite when we get this. It's not something in practice. It's like the layup. You know, oh, you missed the layup. When you never practice the layup, you don't miss the layup. Okay, so this is where you absolutely got to study. And I know, you know, this is a fitness program or whatever, but I quickly, because I don't want them getting into bad habits within my fitness program. I do very, very, very minimal teaching. But remember, if they can't do these shots in my fitness program, what's that going to do? Hey, you know what, Dan? You want to work on that move ball in the rise? Come out, I got a private lesson for you. Hey, you don't do this shot so well? Hey, it's a private lesson for you. I did this talk in Orlando in front of 30 pros there, and I can go, you do shots in your ladies' clinics? And I'm like, and they all kind of like, it's like a mutiny. They're like, we would never do that. I'm like, really? I mean, this is where your practice come from. You know, my teams have to go through 4 classes with me, 3 of the 4, depending on how much they learn, how quick, okay, of all this stuff before we ever start tactics. Because we go by ball recognition translates to pattern recognition. So once they learn the rally ball, moon ball, the approach shot, all that stuff, then we say, we want to run back to the service line, or hit the ball at their feet at the net, popping up and making that play. We want to run back to the service line, we get a moon ball coming in. This is what we're going to do. So they have to know the shots before they learn the tactics, right? And then all these shots, then we break it down into 45 minutes for shots, and then we do 45 minutes for tactics. But I have to do the shots in my clinic because in private wouldn't exist. Because he's gonna be doing things, and I want to say, hey, you should work on that, whatever. It's gonna be validated when he goes through the line 10 times and shanks it. And I'm trying to help him, and he just doesn't maybe get it because he can't go slow one-on-one. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna go out there and videotape with my coach's eye or destrator, and we're gonna get that totally fixed up. We're good. And that's where my privates come from. So this ball here, okay, middle grip pressure, but we talk a lot about right in here. We want to hit the gap on this. My ladies, we lost to a team in the first match, and they were so angry because these ladies were like 70, they were like this. They got the bedazzled, spoiled, rotten hat on, like that. My 35-year-old ladies just got schooled, right? And so why? Because they came in with a little MMA ground and pound that we've been working on, right? And they come in there, hey, yeah, and not paying attention to target detail. And they're hitting right back to that lady, and she's like, oh, thank you very much. And she does one of those right over their head. And then they come to me thinking they play Venus and Serena. Oh, man, you should have seen it, man. They hit every ball like, right back there on the line. Like, probably not. The net flops are probably here. You seem like a year away, and you overflow because you hit it right back to them. So we really emphasize never hitting at the player. Because you got folks that have really good hands and they hit these greasy balls back for winners that, you know, we believe in gaps and angles. So we really want to hit this gap right here in the middle. And then we hit angles. So we don't want to hit all the same. We want them to have, because what happens is we go hit the gap all the time. Then in the second set, they go play double back and we keep hitting the gap. And the match totally changes. So they have to know angles too, and they have to know how to adapt when somebody changes on us. So here we go. Ready? Move through the ball. Move through it. Better. Move through it. Close it off. Better. Close through it. Here we go. Yep, good. Pound a couple. Show me the touch. Show me the touch. You know, and this is too, they'll never be able to do the touch right away. Their touch volley looks like this. This is what their touch volley is going to look like. They'll get the right direction, but they're like that. Because of what? Grip pressure. Yeah. So that's where, again, you start talking about grip pressure. We do the Brett Hobden thing where we lose the collision, where we play the game where we hit the ball many times twice, we stop it, and we hit it again. So they get used to stopping the ball and hitting it again. We do a lot of that. We even go orange and yellow balls to get so they really understand feel and stuff. So we take it a long way of getting them to feel this kind of stuff. You know, I had orange balls out with them on their volleys right from the get-go. And that's why their volleys have gotten so much better. If we start with yellow balls, they're like bang, 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 and they could volley. So just a little heads up on that. So anyone have any questions? Oh, yeah, we're moving right along. Okay, overheads. Here we go. Overheads. So this is a good topic because out of 60 ladies I had in my lab, 2 did overheads for winners. The rest thought, you know, it was, I hope they never do it again if I got it back. You know, they're just kind of getting back there, hitting it back with a rally ball, and because of their position, maybe the next ball's at their feet or something bad happened. And so we want everybody to know that the overhead's supposed to be a winner. You know, I don't sell for, you know, hitting it off your back foot. You know, you hit it off your back foot when you need to get better. So we practice overheads a lot. We get lobbed a lot because it's a lower level team on them. Ready? So, ready? Here we go. We're going to hit an overhead, go up, touch the cone. The interval should be pretty close. I'll fix it if it isn't. Hit 3 balls each and bounce out. Here we go. Find it. Here you go. Here we go. Go slow. If you haven't warmed up, make sure you have it. Oh yeah, that's too fast though. Here we go. Slow it down a little bit. Never hit it hard. The block. Block. One ball. See, almost everybody's going like this. Almost everybody's on their back foot, right? And that's not, I mean, even though it is hitting at Mach 11, but at his level, Mach 11 is Mach 11. They all hit at Mach 11 at his level. So it's not that intimidating. So in this situation, we go with a drill where we just catch. We get in trophy, and I want them to just catch. And we talk a lot about this, like we give analogies, and I hope people get this, is in tennis, people tend to run with the ball. Not just tennis, baseball, people run with it, and then at the very end, they try to do something spectacular. Where in baseball, you're taught, hey, if there's a fly ball going to center field, I got to run around third, I'm going to try to throw it out. I'm going to get way behind the ball, I'm going to catch it, so my momentum is I can go back and throw them out, right? Tennis isn't like that. They tend to trail with the ball, and then at the last second, then they hit their shot. I want them to really focus on being balanced. So I want them to kind of almost get behind it, and I want them to catch it so they're balanced, ready to really strike. So get your hands up in trophy, catch 3 of them, still touch the cone, but work on your balance. Be there. You have to catch it, catch it, catch it. Good. Here we go. Catch it. Find it, find it, find it. Much better. Find it, really good. And sometimes it's just getting able to play at game speed. It's not a drill, you gotta play everything at game speed. Like my daughter played a really high level of softball. And we'd go out, the coach would go, here, we're gonna play right here, ready? Like that, like that. And he's like, oh my God, these kids haven't dropped the ball in like half hour, Stan. And I'm like, well, that's not realistic. Well, put your racket down for a second. We're gonna play fast hands, ready? Fast hands, right? Catch it, throw, catch it, throw. Faster, 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 ready? We're gonna go fast. And then all of a sudden it goes like that. And I'm like, oh, that's what happened in Lakeland the other day when we're trying to turn double play. Because when you start going game speed, things start to be real. And so, you know, again, I want them at game speed in every drill we do, so that way I know when they get to a match, we've done that. And that gets over the fear. You talk about fear and mental efficiency. Well, that gets over fear because you have preparation. A lot of people fear things because they never do it, and then they're expected to do it in the match. Causes great fear. Ready? Here we go. Overhead now, you're gonna crack it. But think about catching the ball. Ready? Think about catching the ball. Think about catching it. Boom, bang. Think about catching it. Boom, good. Wow, big difference. I think so. Much better. Ready? Find it, find it, find it, find it. Almost. Ready? Find it. Find it. Oh yeah, this is much bigger overhead there. Much bigger. Much bigger. He hit down on that a little bit, but he's in much better position to strike than he was before. Before he was more like this. So you've got to plant the details in his head. You can't just expect him to figure it out. Self-discovery only works if he's done it or been told to do it. You know, self-discovery, you hear that a lot from people. Oh, they'll figure it out. Well, lady tonight, Jupiter, she's been playing for 30 years and couldn't play a moonball. She's 70. When's she going to figure it out? She's going to have some epiphany when she's 73? Oh, I got it now. You know? She came to me, I showed it to her, boom, she's hitting moonballs. She goes, I wish I would have found you 30 years ago. You know? She never hit a moonball before. She always feared that person. She didn't like playing that person. And I'm like, well, if you know how to play it, then you can kind of take them out of their game style, because we hit a moonball back and we're right at the service line waiting to play another ball. We don't sit and moonball with people if they moonball us. We don't try to be the better moonball player. We play it and get out of dodge and get to here, where we can put the next moonball, you know, in the gap, hit it for an angle. So, all right, do you have any questions? Covered a lot of stuff. Okay, so we are going to do, we're going to try a half volley pickup, touch the cone. Again, nobody works on this shot. This is a shot that these guys should definitely work on at their level. And when I start to work on low volleys or half volleys with people at the 3, 5, 4 level, they go, well, I wouldn't be up there at that time. You hear that? They're like, I just wouldn't be there. I'd either be all the way up there or I'd be back here, I wouldn't be there. I'm like, sweetie, you don't have a choice. You've got to here, and the ball's at your feet. Now we have to know how to deal with it, right? And they don't think that way, though, because they've never been given difficult balls. In a lesson, they've always given, you're doing great, you're doing great. And now instead you give them balls that they're not so great at, they're like, ooh, I don't like that. So again, that's that hurdle you're going to kind of have to get over when you start doing, if you do this stuff, they're going to kind of push back a little bit that this is hard, I don't want to do it, because you go to an ice skating rink, and I do this analogy all the time. The beginner ice skaters never fall down. They're too scared to fall down, so they never do anything difficult. They're just don't want to fall down. And if they do, then my wide receiver just got drilled. They're right back up. But you go to the elite lessons when they're gone, and they fall down all day long, because they're always trying to do something that they're not capable of. And so we want them doing things that they're not good at, so they get better at it, instead of saying, oh, let's work on your forehand, which they're already pretty good at. Their moonball in the rise, not so good. Moonball in the descent, not so good. High approach, not so good. But your forehand, it might be okay. Let's not work on that so much. So, really important. So, and again, like, when you're throwing these moonballs, I had a guy leave the lesson, or played the other day, and he goes, I'll go home and feed that drill. I'm like, I was feeding moonballs at 2.5 seconds. It's not going to happen, so you're going to trash their skill of recovery, because you're going to be too late feeding the ball, and they can be doing really not so good stuff with their preparation and recovery, and it'll never be exposed because you can't get the ball there soon enough. So it's really important to realize. And I haven't done any wheelies yet. I haven't done any approach volley lob, which all this stuff can do. I'm just throwing one ball and moving it around. So, all right, so let's do some half volleys. 2 lines, half volleys. Pick it up, close, touch the cone, back. Right? Not something you work on, it's a little difficult. Now I want him to stay in there. How tall are you? You gotta be like 6'1"? 6'2", that's close. So, jump in here for a second. And I'm going to make a really minor fix and see if it helps. Okay? Think about the cone just being here, and then move it over here for you. Watch this, just real quick. Quick fix. Ready? Something like this. Ready? Touch the cone and come back. What do you think the problem is? Yeah, you can get all kinds of micromanaging on me. You can go elbow, wrist, you know. I'm going to tell him what we tell shortstops when we work in baseball. I do a little bit of coaching in the baseball thing. That's where I actually spent a lot of time growing up. If I'm working with a shortstop and he's 6'2", and he's getting ready for a ground ball, you ever see Derek Jeter standing like this? No, man. DJ's down like this. Glove in the dirt. And this is where this guy at 6'2" has to be. Okay? He's gonna come up here as a big man. He's gonna be want to be there. When I'm playing in doubles, I'm starting my play right here. I'm not standing there like this. So just fix that. Get your glove in the dirt now. Ready? Just fix that. Just get lower. Ready? Get low. There. Get low. Now see if that fixes anything. Better. Here we go. Get low. Stay low. Better. Get low. Almost. I'll slow it down a little bit. That's too fast for him, actually. Slow it down. Ready? Here we go. Just hit forehand. Just hit forehand. Get low. Get low. Better. Now I'm going to start to give him some information now. I want you to still accelerate, right? I want you to still accelerate, and I want you to go low to level. So I want it low to level. Whoops, sorry. All right, okay. Here we go. That's low to level. Really accelerate. Ready? Again, one more time. Last one. Here we go. Come on. There. Stay low. Get lower though. You gotta get low. Get in the dirt. Ready? Here we go. Get in the dirt. Better. Again. Here we go. Get in the dirt. Get in the dirt. Better. You see how things kind of got better? With a simple suggestion about I didn't really micromanage a lot of technique, you know, and it got better just because he's a big guy and he's standing straight up. That was like the first thing I saw. And now you can kind of dabble in like some of you were saying, like, you know, this and this. But the big thing was you're standing straight up. So anything you try to fix from here will kind of be a band-aid until he gets lower. Because a guy like that size, when you watch the Bryans, I mean, they're more in there, right? So, okay, so we're gonna do some zone to zones. Got like massive drills here. We're gonna do like a bit of a grand finale here. And so, you know all these shots because we worked on them. And zone to zones, remember I told you at the beginning, are a high approach, then they become a high volley. Then a low approach becomes a low volley. Then like a moon ball on the rise, then you're gonna play a moon ball out of the air. And then we're gonna do a zigzag volley, because we did deciders. So you're gonna hit a volley here, a forehand, and a volley here, and a volley here, just on one ball coming at your nose, but they're moving. Does everybody see that? So we'll work on when we get to it. So, yeah, you go first. Exactly. What are you doing? Good one. Nice. I'll start over. All right. Let's see. We are good. We are good. We are good. Perfect. Okay. So high approach, high volley. High approach, high volley. 2 balls and exit out. Next person's up. Ready? Here we go. High approach, high volley. Go, go, go. High approach. Let's throw the high. You want to spank it. Put that ball in the gap. Remember? We gotta do that. We got 5 people out here. I'm stressed for time. You see that? Because I almost don't have enough people. A lot of people are really like struggling with 5 people. I don't have enough people. If I got more people, I can switch lanes and ladders and all that stuff. Okay? Ready? Now we're going to go low approach, low volley. Low approach, low volley. Ready? So low approach, low volley. Come at me. Low approach. Low approach. Low volley. Good play. Low approach, low volley. You drop shot in front of you. Drop shot across court. Ready? Here we go. Here we go. There it is. There it is. So low approach, low volley. It's the same ball. I'm not pushing anybody. Low approach, low volley. Okay? Then the next drill is going to be moon ball on the rise. Moon ball on the rise, moon ball out of the air. Moon ball on the rise, moon ball out of the air. So moon ball on the rise, go get it and tag it out of the air. You hurt them, and you get the reward. Don't overrun it. You're driving the boat. You're driving the boat. Let's just get your strike zone now. Go find it, let it get your strike zone. That was 2 balls. Smack it this one. Find it. Now you let that drop slow. We did work on that ball though. Here, there. Now anchor up a little strike zone tracking. Better. A little bit of spin on that. Flat it out. That's too low, eh? Okay, so next drill. Then we're going to do half volley volley. So move on up a little bit. Move on up a little bit. Doing it right? Here we go. So we're going to close here, so I'm going to kind of move these out of the way. All right. Let Spencer do his magic there. All right, so half volley, move on up. There you go, good. Half volley, volley. Same as we've been doing. All right, here we go. Half volley, close, half volley, and volley. Low volley. And again, the ladies are like, oh my gosh, my guys are like, oh my gosh, that ball's really low. I shouldn't have come in, you know, and they just need to learn this shot. So then the last drill is we're going to do, because I know he's kind of getting tight on balls, you guys can just run over and just kick as many balls over there as possible, because this is kind of an important drill. The deciders drill we're going to close with. Alright, your hair is going to be on fire. Thank you very much. Alright, good. 2 lines back here, really quick. 2 lines, okay? They're going to get a ball back here. They're going to play it low, maybe even a half volley out of there. Then they're going to hit a backhand and then a forehand and exit out. Ready? Here we go. 3 balls. Yep, 3 balls. Here we go. Up there, pick it up, now go forward. Then a backhand, and then a forehand. 3 balls. These guys are pretty fast. Let's speed it up. So none of that drill, right? They're working on getting inside the ball. They're shifting forehands and backhands, machines and swings, 2 balls. I think the Prince machine in 1972 did this drill. So any ball machine will do this drill. And they learn volleys, then they get gas. And they work on being decided. This drill, they do it very well because they're very good. Your members won't because they just want to go forehand, forehand, forehand. And you start saying forehand, backhand, and they're moving, then it gets a lot harder for them of wanting to be beside the ball. So, does anybody have any questions? If anybody has any questions, I do this very long commercially, and the thing is like, it's funny because some people say, well, you know, how hard is it now because the ball machine is so hard to set up? All I have to do, if I say I want a topspin ball, there's my topspin ball. If I say I want a moon ball, I just say I want a moon ball, there's my moon ball. If I say I want a high approach shot, you know, this is how quick I get to my high approach shot. I just choose it. So, technology's out there. The D-Strader app is free, there's Coach's Eye, there's all these video apps. Please, just do me a favor. The next time you pull the cart up to the net, think about what are we doing and how it's going to affect our player. And try to get more into this technology. Yep. Yeah, you can transition machines. It just depends on when you have it, how old it is, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can upgrade. We made that so you can upgrade it. But you know, I even use the manual machines. You all see me do similar since Tucson in 1990. I was at Wilson Tenant Ranch, so I've been using the manual machine to teach with forever. This has only been out for 2 years. So just do your best to kind of figure that tennis IQ out for that player and make it better. And I guarantee you, if I come back here in a couple of years, we'll all be in a better spot because that's what we want. We don't want to hear lessons are down 20, 30%. Some of you may not be, but across the country, it is. Because as I talk to people like this, there's 13,000 certified pros. I only get to see like 900 to 1,000 of them a year through the conferences. There's 12,000 more out there that are probably going to be doing this too. So you need to be the difference. You need to be the one that goes, I'm different. I am a lead professional. I am going to be different. This is what makes me different. I'm not going to worry about somebody down the street. I just want to be better than them. So, if you have any questions, Spencer back there, give Spencer a big hand for He's been 3 cities for me. He's in Indy, Nashville, and out here picking up balls relentlessly for about 15 different clinics. So I really appreciate him. If you have any questions about anything, don't come to me, come to him because he's the guru for this area. Thanks to Pat for inviting me too, because it was I love coming back here and I haven't been to Memphis in years, so I really appreciate your time, especially on Valentine's Day, especially on a Saturday. Thank you.
We'll take about 5 minutes and then Bill Phillips will be at around 10:10.